Hey, now today what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we write the equation of a quadratic. We can do it from lots of different forms, but today we're going to write them all in standard form. Now, generally speaking, to get it in standard form, it's just really a simplified version of a quadratic, meaning you need to simplify it using order of operations and multiplying, combining like terms, double distributive, or just distributive property. So we have a lot of old stuff that we did back in September that we're going to now apply here. But we're going to do it in a little creative way. Okay, so we really want our equations to look just like the one above. F of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at is one that you're going to see in Delta Math, which is going to say rewrite the quadratic in intercept root form below in standard form. So that means that's our intercept root form. And we want to get it so we have ax squared plus bx plus c. So your first step is you need to now simplify. Don't distribute first because it's going to make things messy. Simplify that first. Do the binomial times the binomial. Now remember, you can either use your tabular method or double distributive. I prefer tabular, so I'm going to do x minus 7, x plus 3. We just take each binomial, label the side, and then we fill in with multiplication. X times x is x squared. X times negative 7 is negative 7x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. So when we combine our like terms here, we end up with x squared minus 4x minus 21. Okay? Now what we're going to have to do is we have to replace this expression with 4x squared x squared minus 4x minus 21. So we have y equals negative 3 times x squared minus 4x minus 21. Okay? Now how do we get rid of the parentheses? But now we're just going to distribute. So our final equation is going to be negative 3x squared minus, now if negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12x. Negative 3 times negative 21 is positive 63. Now, you can all use your calculator to do this. Now, you should be able to tell that this equation is now opening downward, and the vertex would be a maximum because of that negative. But you could have seen it up there, too. These are just little tidbits, okay? So pause the video, make sure you have it down. Now we're going to move on to number 2. Write the equation of the parabola given the graph. Now we want it in standard form. Now we could write it in root form or intercept form or factored form, but we're going to have to get it first into standard form. So where do we work from? The easiest place to work from is our roots, if we have them. Whoops. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight our roots, which are here and here. We're going to label them. What number does it cross at? This is 2. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what that means is x equals 2 and x equals 5. So those are our solutions. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards from our solutions to get the original quadratic that we had if we needed to, factor it to get to 0. So we're going to start up here and work backwards. So we have x equals 2, x equals 5. And we're going to now work backwards to get that quadratic. So in order to do that, I need to bring the 2 over and the 5 over to get our factors. So when you bring them across the equal sign, you have to subtract it. So that factor would be x minus 2. And when I want to bring the 5 over, I'm going to be left with x minus 5. In order to go across the equal sign, you need to remember you have to do the opposite. And I'm going to put equals 0 there because that's really what we were doing. Now, we're not going to tee it off. We're working backwards. So where did this come from? Well, it came from double distributing or undoing double distributing. So now we're going to double distribute our two factors, x minus 2, x minus 5, and we're going to multiply. So we have x times x is x squared, x times negative 2 is negative 2x, negative 5 times x is negative 5x, and negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. And now all we do is combine like terms, and we're left with x squared minus 7x plus 10. So that would be actually, because there's nothing else to do there, we're going to now rewrite it underneath it. So we have x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. But I need to write the equation of a parabola. So we don't want it equal to 0. We want it as a function. So we can replace it with y and write y equals x squared minus 7x plus 10, or we can write as f of x equals x squared minus 7x plus 10. It doesn't matter what function notation you use, they all mean the same thing. Okay? Pause the video, make sure you get this down. And the last one I just want to show you is, what if they don't give you a graph and they just tell you what the roots are? You're just supposed to be able to interpret that the roots are -3 and 2, that it's x equals -3 and x equals 2, and we just work backwards from there. So again, in order to get that equation in standard form, that ax squared plus bx plus c, we need to work this backwards. So we need to bring the 3 over. So when you bring it across the equal sign, it changes sign. It becomes x plus 3. So that's our one root, or one factor. Those are our roots. When I bring the 2 over, I'm left with x minus 2. And I'm going to keep that equal 0 there. Now I'm going to simplify this expression by multiplying using the tabular method. I'm left with x plus 3, x minus 2, multiply. You have x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. X times -2 is -2x. And -2 times 3 is -6. Combine your like terms, and you're left with x squared. 3x minus 2x is plus 1x. Minus 6 equals 0. Now, again, I need to write it as a function, so I'm either going to use f of x equals x squared plus 1x minus 6. You don't even need the 1, don't forget. I'm going to show you in this example. Or you can write y equals x squared plus x minus 6. Okay? So those are all the different ways that we're going to start kind of being creative on writing the equations of a quadratic. So pause the video, make sure you get this down. Now what we're going to do is there's 3 more practice problems, same as the ones I just led you through. Make sure you know how to do them, because what you're going to have to do is apply your knowledge on a Delta Math assignment, which is going to be labeled writing equations of quadratics in standard form. Now it's only from factored form. So I think I only gave you 2 or 3, maybe 4 examples to do. Okay, so work it out on paper before you submit your answer, and please make sure you follow the directions. And message me if you have any questions.